Yeah, obviously Sunday didn't coach well enough, didn't play well enough. Tough to win games when you give up that many yards on the ground, the explosive runs. Got another big challenge this week. We're going to have to get things fixed. There's a variety of issues, I would say, that showed up kind of throughout the game that reared their head. But confident we can get them fixed. Went through them with the guys. Got to get back to work on the field, working through those things. But confident we can get them fixed. But again, a big challenge this week. We're going to have to be ready to go, obviously, with this 49ers offense.
Shane, obviously, Denver and last week were different circumstances. But when you look at 71 points in 5 quarters, what is, as a defensive coordinator, what is that?
Yeah, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. It's frustrating. And then you go back to the 5 before that, and there's 0 points, right? So it's been a drastic change here. I think just with our guys, making sure we're getting back to who we are, right, and what we want to be about, and don't let one thing snowball on us, and keep playing, keep finding solutions, keep working on the practice field. And I'm confident that we're going to do that this week.
Who are you? What do you want to be about?
Yeah, I want to be about effort, finish, physicality, speed, flying around to the football. Back to the play style. Let's make it more about the play style. We got to get the fundamentals fixed. We got to make sure we're looking at the right guy. We got to have the right technique and man coverage, all that type of stuff. But let's make sure we don't lose sight of the play style and what that is.
It was only a couple weeks ago that Deonte Banks was like out of the rotation, and second half of last game, he's your number 1 corner and could be again if those two guys aren't practicing. How did he respond in those 2 weeks to like losing his spot, and now all of a sudden here he is at 1 again? Yeah,
I think he's been good even throughout training camp when they were battling it out, him and Flott. I think he's been engaged. He has. He's been engaged. He comes in, he works every day. Never going to be perfect with any of these guys. There's always plays, but I do think he's taking the next step in just being a pro and what it takes week in and week out.
When you say the run defense, there's some things you're looking at. What are you seeing common-wise in these 5 quarters that's been an issue that you want to address?
Yeah, I think specifically on Sunday was probably one of our worst tackling games. I think tackling showed up. I think just making sure we're defined and where we're at in terms of gap control, not lying to the guys behind us. It gets a little gray, then it gets a little loose, and then good backs find it and they exploit it. So making sure we're doing a good job of being where we're supposed to be, controlling our gaps, and few calls there, pressured. We got caught behind on a couple of those. Good job by them. Give credit to them what they did. And I thought they did a good job mixing it. It was inside, it was outside. Just having to defend the whole field in terms of the run game and what that was on Sunday. But again, a lot of different things. It's not one group. It's not one guy. It's not the players. It's everybody, all of us together in this thing, and things we got to get fixed as we go here.
What is not lying to the guys behind us on gap control mean?
Yeah, I think just making sure my hat's where it's supposed to be, because you got the second level, you got the third level guys, and you start getting nosy, you start playing peekaboo a little bit in there, like I'm going to show up, and then the guy doesn't really know how to fit off, and then it just gets a little bit loose.
How much does not having a corner who travels with like a number 1 receiver, which you did a little bit last year and you've done a lot with Adebo, how much does that change what's happening in the secondary?
Yeah, I think it's week to week. I mean, that's something we look at every week, and a lot of that depends on who we're going against and the skill sets of our personnel as well. So something we look at week to week that we got to kind of make a decision on as we go.
It's not one guy, everyone understands that, but what's the balance between like making a change, like taking someone out of the line if he's not performing versus sticking with them and having faith that they'll turn it around?
Yeah, I think if there's a consistent lack of production, so to speak, I think that's something you look at. I think right now for us, it's holistic. Like, we got to make sure every single person, including myself, is doing a better job at executing our job, play in and play out.
Shane, how much more difficult does it make when you say it is everything and there's not just one thing you can pinpoint? You know, like, you know what I mean? Rather than
I
plug in one hole, so to speak.
And I get your point. I think each play is different. Like, it's a one-off here, it's a one-off there. I wouldn't say consistently that we're lying to the guy behind us. Consistently, we're obviously last week we missed more tackles than we have, right? But there's some good parts of that too, where guys are showing up and making some plays, and there is a little bit more consistency. So to me, it's more consistency across the board with those things that we're kind of pinpointing, because you never know. Like, you never know the play where it's going to show up and it's going to cost you.
When you look at McCaffrey, obviously his numbers speak for themselves, but what makes him so dangerous in your eyes, and how difficult is that to deal with?
Yeah, he can do it all. They got a really good scheme. He can run outside. He's got speed. He can run downhill and find creases. He can jump cut, great vision. Obviously, what he can do out of the backfield is an issue. Just creating matchups that way for him, getting him the ball in space, let him do his thing. So they use him a lot of different ways, and he's very effective at all of them.
A lot of the damage has come to the edges, right, to the outside, and they ran, the pin and pull a lot against you guys, had a lot of success. What are the coaching points for you to make sure that you could stop that?
Yeah, I think we got to make sure we're showing up and setting good edges out there, whoever it is. It's not always the OLB. It's not always the safety. It's not always the corner, the inside backer. Everybody's responsible at some point to be an edge setter, just based on how they're scheming you and what they're trying to do. I think we got to make sure we're running. Like, we got to see the path of the back. That tells you a lot. Like, making sure we're running just in terms of, are we getting downhill? Are we having to play over the top of a bunch of moving parts? Seeing those things, and then finding ways to get hats to the ball. Like, again, they're trying to get it out there, I think, to create some one-on-one tackles.
Would
right?
you take on the tush push, given what they did last week?
Yeah, I mean, heck of a play by Kayvon.
Seeing that, Shane, seeing that the refs had a difficult time officiating it, does that make you think that it should be taken out of the game?
I'm controlling what I can control.